Okay, welcome to this forward conference. We are going to share, I'm going to share my screen. Perfect. So here we are in the course, English that word 6. Let's go to course content, contenido del curso, project, activity 4. So for this learning activity, we have a material, how to be a responsible leader. You have additional materials, support materials with additional exercises, here a glossary. We are going to work on this evidence, these pieces of evidence, my presentation outline, wiki, celebrity models, and world leaders. And you have an interactive activity, oral presentation. You have the learning guide here. And the program evaluation survey, which is going to be available the last 2 days of the course. So I want to start with the pieces of evidence you have for this 4th activity. This is, okay, when you enter, remember, let me repeat this for you all. Remember that when you enter here through this link that is called evidence, let me close everything. Here, evidence, my presentation outlined. When we enter here, you find the place where you have to upload your evidence. So you download the evidence from here, you work on it, and then you upload it right from this same site. So this is what I wanted to repeat for you all. Don't forget that. And now let's go. I want to explain to you now what you have to do in this evidence. So in the first part, as you see, it has a long title, because here you find 3 pieces of evidence in just one test. So in the first part, you are going to work on my presentation outlined. What you have to do here, find a topic of personal interest. Wait a minute. Okay, internet is back. Find a topic of your personal interest. Imagine that you are going to present that topic orally to your teacher and classmates at school. For this part of the evidence, you need to carry out exhaustive research in order to be able to present all the necessary information related to your selected topic. Report the most important aspects of your research through a brainstorm. That's a technique you can use, of the ideas and concepts that you think will be relevant to the presentation. So brainstorming is a good start when you find a topic of your interest. Let's say my topic is aviation, right? So I make a list of things I want to do and explain and to talk about this topic, you know? So here we find a small brainstorm. Aviation refers to the use of commercial and non-commercial aircraft for transportation of people or goods. The A380 manufactured by the Airbus industry is the biggest plane ever made. So here, in the example, you find two things I want to refer. At the beginning, some of you, most of you, with your brainstorming, you started with definition, with different concepts related to that topic you use, because I have been grading, you know, like many tasks. I think about 20 or 30 maybe. So that's the first part. You find a topic and then you put a brainstorming ideas about that topic you choose. In the second part of this same activity, what you have to do, you will need to write some cards. So let's go into it. Now, structure your presentation using the signpost language learned during this learning activity. Present your outline through presentation cards. Use at least 3 cards. So you have here the space for the 3 cards. Card number 1, 2, and the third one. So my topic is aviation. So the structure, what I plan to do at the beginning of my presentation is I'm going to divide this talk into 5 parts. Early beginnings, that's what I want to talk about at the beginning. Civil aviation, commercial aviation, modern aircraft manufacturers like Airbus, Boeing, Embraer, and finally, in this first part, the most famous aircraft in history. So I want to talk about these 3. So you need to do your own cards. Each presentation card should include a heading, a phrase, at the bottom, a number, 1, 2, 3, and it should be organized by numbering and bulletin, like here. And then you need to include a complete list of references using the guidelines given by American Psychological Association, APA. Do not forget to organize your references alphabetically. So this is the first part of the activity. Okay? The second one is word leaders. So the person I admire the most. What to do? You need to write a biography of the person you admire the most. This person can be, for example, a public figure, a celebrity, a politician, a world leader, or someone close to you, a relative. How to do it? You need to carry out some research, same as we did in the last activity, in order to collect the necessary information for writing the biography. If the person chosen is a public figure, you can surf the web in order to get the details you are going to include. On the contrary, if the person chose is someone you know personally, you can set up an interview in order to ask the person the questions you may have about her life. Here is an outline which suggests following for writing the biography. We have chosen Charles Darwin, public figure, an influential scientist of the 19th century as example for the outline. So this is a suggested outline. Early life and education, in case you choose a public figure, a celebrity, a politician. Voyages of the Beagle, Darwin's evolutionary theory, overwork, illness, and marriage, natural selection, his theory, geology books, barnacles, evolutionary research, publication of the theory of natural selection. Okay, his theory, responses to publication, descent of men, sexual selection, and botany, death, and funeral. Here you have, type here, the space where you can include your biography. The biography of the person you choose. Write the biography of the person you admire. Translations from Google or biographies taken directly from the internet have D. No aprobado. This same evidence as the previous one has two parts. In this second part, for this evidence, you have to record an audio with your voice. What to do? In this section, you will record a tape or video in which you orally present the person you choose in section 1. For this part of the evidence, you need to present biography as well as explain and illustrate the reasons why you admire this person. So in this second part, you not only have to read the biography of the person you choose, but you also need to include the reasons why you admire this person or why you choose this person. Okay, how to do it? Record an audio or a video in the device of your preference. Remember that we instructors usually use this one because it's, you know, very simple for you to use the Buckaroo. But you can do it in your computer with your phone and then upload the audio file. Before you start the recording, you need to organize the information you are going to introduce. Your presentation has to include the following aspects: an introduction, a description of the biography, arguments and illustrations supporting your admiration for this person, a conclusion, and don't forget to add the sources. Okay, please paste the Buckaroo link here or just upload the audio with this activity. In activity number 3, celebrity models, what you have to do if you need to agree or disagree with the following statement. You need to explain why you agree or disagree. Celebrities are taken as responsibility and leadership models. So what do you think about that statement? You know, that's true? Really? Not totally. So try to explain yourself and you need to write an opinion. When writing your opinion, you will need to use the vocabulary related to leadership and responsibility. You can answer the following questions in order to get ideas for giving your appreciation. Am I a big fan of media? Do I have a celebrity idol? What are the main characteristics a leader should have? What role should leaders, models display depending on their context? This is, these four questions are aspects to think about if you want to get further and explain yourself. If you want to give, like most of you do, a small opinion, it's okay. So these are the activities you have to do for this fourth unit, for this fourth learning guide in the course. Any questions so far? I saw Fidelina and Luis in the web conference. Is it everything clear so far for you? Okay, thank you, Fidelina. Luis, tell me, do you have any questions? Okay, it's okay. So let's go back to Territorium and let's continue with the material. We are going to pass over the subjects. I'm going to explain most of them for you to include this information in your presentations, in all you need to do for this learning activity 4. So, the name of the material is How to be a Responsible Leader, because you are going to present leaders, In this last learning activity of level 6, you will learn about giving oral presentations. That is, important elements relating to the organization and presentation of data and concepts around a topic. As a consequence, you will learn about the vocabulary that is used for the different stages of an oral presentation, as well as how to present statistical and numerical data. Finally, you will learn about the styles for crediting sources. This is very important. That's why you need to include also the sources of the researches you do in the first one, when you need to choose a subject, and in the second one, when you need to choose someone. So we were here. You will learn about the vocabulary that is used for the different stages of an oral presentation, as well as how to present statistical and numerical data. Finally, you will learn about the styles for crediting sources and referencing information. In addition to the topic of oral presentations, you will learn some vocabulary related to responsibility and leadership. You will put into practice the use of certain vocabulary related to leadership in preparing and giving oral presentations. So this material is organized. Okay, my internet is coming back now. Oral presentations, signposting, composite words, vocabulary, and concepts about leadership and responsibility. So, oral presentations, how to be a good presenter. And remember, you need to follow, you need to include the cards for your presentation in the first part of the activity. So it is good for you to be organized, to organize all the information, and you need, like introduce the subject, of course, every time, like you need to introduce yourself, depending, of course, of the people you are going to talk to. So make a small presentation of yourself, then introduce the subject and the structure of the presentation at the beginning. And this is simple, like simple but necessary. This is something we do all the time. Speak clearly and more slowly than you would in a conversation. This is very important. And as you see, I also do it with you. And I also try like this about to speaking clearly. It is necessary, but it's something you can do speaking word by word. When we are in a conversation, we usually speak quickly, and you don't need to emphasize every word of the communication, of everything you are communicating. But when you're doing a presentation, you must do it. You must go word by word. That's what speak clearly means. Explain, rephrase, and clarify new or difficult words. And this is something we also do at school. For instance, teachers, not only English teachers, but all the information we give when you take classes about history, geography, everything. And most of you are teachers too in this sixth level of English that works. So you know that you need to explain, and in order to explain, you need to rephrase. And what is rephrase? You need to give or say the same in other form, like in mathematics, in maths, not all the people learn by the same method. So this is very important. You need to rephrase, recap, and summarize each part of the presentation at the end. This is also important. Let's see a few expressions that can be used in oral presentations to illustrate the points mentioned above. So here we have the phrases. I would like to talk about, and this phrase, we use it to introduce the subject. This presentation will explore the different levels of, and here you're talking about the structure. Here we have some more. As has become clear with examples, communication technologies are, let me put it this way. This is for rephrasing. In other words, this is also for rephrasing and for explanation. To summarize, for the final part, for summarizing the information, to summarize the main features, let me recap is another way to say it. So try to use those phrases in the presentation. Another important skill necessary for becoming a good presenter is to know how to prepare notes for a presentation. And this is the part you need for doing the first part of the activity. It is appropriate in academic context to give the presentation from notes that you have prepared rather than reading aloud from a text or slides. Preparing notes for a good presentation. Make a card for each part of the presentation and number the cards in the appropriate order. Give each card a title. You need to do this part and this one. You need to write notes using bullet points or numbers, letters to help you keep organized and to remind you of the main points of the presentation. Write key phrases at the bottom and also, okay, at the bottom of the cards to summarize that section of the presentation or keywords or phrases to help your transition to the next section. And practice your presentation at home and time yourself to make sure the length is appropriate for the time allowed for your talk. You don't need to do the presentation. What you have to do in the activity is just to organize as if you were going to do a presentation. So it's simpler than that. Dealing with data, this information is good for the people who are studying, who are enrolled in this course because are preparing themselves to achieve a better score on the international exams. And you will find in most of all the international exams, you find information which are displayed with data. So this part is very, important for this type of students, especially. So here, if you are going to do a presentation, an academic presentation, you will need to add line graph, bar charts, pie charts. And here we find some vocabulary we use and expressions, phrases we use to explain in detail those charts. For instance, wait a minute. I can use the majority, the same as, almost, approximately, just under, just over. And these expressions, rise, fall, stay the same, change frequently, peak, when we need to explain those charts. In this case, we can see peaks, rise, decrease, decrease, stays the same. No, there are not examples for that one, especially. Okay. We can use these verbs with its adverbs, rose dramatically, fell substantially, increase considerably, drop slightly, decrease noticeably, grew marginally, a small group, declined steadily, continues. It's okay. Thank you, Luis. Thank you for being here. Remember at the end that you need to add crediting sources. And this is something you do, no? You know how to do it. But here we find information. There are several conventions that can be used for writing references, bibliographies. For example, APA, MLA, Econtech, which is the national convention. Your style selection basically depends on your school or department's preferred style for referencing. For that reason, we recommend you to check with your academic authority about its preferred norm and use it regularly in your work. You know, here in English That Works, you find information not only for learning about daily activities you do in your life using English in context, but also it'll help you organize your own life, you know? In the case you are related to the academic, you are a university student or you are planning to get into a master, a PhD later on. So this is something you will need for that. So that's good about these courses. Note, after you have chosen a style of referencing, the most important thing is to use it consistently throughout your work. Do not mix the styles. It's very important. And you find that, as it is said here, that, for instance, if you are working for a specific, wait a minute. Okay, thank you. I was saying that depending on the place you are work for, investigation, let's say, or you are working for the university in your own studies. So the university or the investigation team will have a specific convention to use. So this is what it says here now, like try to follow that, you need to follow that and try not to mix. Okay, this meeting is about to finish. Here you have the APA style. And then for the last part, we are going to cover in this last conference, what conference is signposting. So let's enter again. And thank you for being here.